Welcome to, what's the name of this podcast again? TCW.
Is it the unauthorised
No,
one?
it's not unauthorised, so this is but you still go by Dylan Daniels on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Just to, keep some sort of kayfabe.
Keep the kayfabe alive, boys.
Was it Behind the Curtain? That's it.
That's
TCW Behind the Curtain. So I'm joined by the other owner. Yeah, we're looking at that bit there. I'm looking all over the place. I'm looking at you in it.
So I'm looking at the laptop.
The other co-owner of Tasmanian Championship Wrestling, former North-esque champion, still burns him bad.
It does. I've done it all. I've hit my ceiling.
Yeah.
I know where I lie.
So first question is, what brought you to TCW? I know that you had a manager and commentator.
So I came to the shows. So I started off just as a fan coming along, watching. And back then, this was maybe third show.
Oh, that early? Okay.
Early.
Yeah.
I came and it was on a basketball. This court, no lighting, no anything, just on a basketball court. No stories really. I think there was one storyline going on. And it was enjoyable. It was local wrestling. I hadn't been local wrestling before. But the crowd didn't know what they were doing. There was no chance. There was no concept of good guys, bad guys. So I had fun. I chanted away. And
little kids just running around
chaos.
Yeah.
It was full on. And I went to that, enjoyed it, watched Eddie wrestle, and I kind of knew him through a mate, so I messaged him. And I'm like, hey, good show. It was good to see. He said, come and train. I said, not a chance. Came to the next show. He's like, come and...
It's still a bit like that with you as well, isn't it?
it's this ongoing gag, that's why. He's like, come and train. I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then they had an open day after maybe 2 or 3 shows, and I said, yeah, look, I'll come to the open day. Did the open day with JJ Storm. Started it with JJ Storm.
Yeah.
And we did the tryout, and I liked it, and we trained for a bit. And I landed on my neck on something and quit. I was like, I don't want to train. I don't want to land on my neck. I don't want to injure myself for 100 people. I don't want to do this. But offered the owner at the time, Lee, offered him to help out because he was doing everything.
Yeah.
He was running the show on his own. Much smaller crew back then. A lot of mainlanders coming over and wrestling, and only 2 or 3 local guys. So I said, let me help with paperwork and let me help on show day organising. He said, yeah, that'd be awesome. Then he let me and old JJ Storm do commentary.
Yeah.
And that was designed as in-house commentary, which is a weird choice because people don't often do live commentary.
Just the local, just in the building.
Yeah, but we did it to guide the fans.
Yeah.
So we did it to if as the face and the heel, if I'm ripping on somebody and Joel's cheering, then the crowd are reacting to that, and that worked. And they got the crowd to the point that they knew who they were supposed to cheer and boo for, and that was awesome. So,
as somebody that's been to wrestling elsewhere in Australia and coming back, it's like, man, it's so awkward and weird hearing the commentary, but then it's also very helpful at the same time.
It is, and I think it's jarring, and I think it is an odd thing an odd decision, but weirdly enough now, I find going to shows that don't have commentary odd.
Yeah.
A little bit. Unless you're close up and right on the action. If you're a bit further back, it's a bit odd. So
it's a little bit weird when the referee can't see something and the commentators are like, oh, there's a thing happening behind the commentator, and you just have to play dumb. It's
that fourth wall where I feel like technically the wrestlers and the ref can't hear the commentators, but everybody else can. So I don't know. But it works for what it needs to be, and it's now part of the show. I think at one point we thought about taking it away, and we've decided to keep with it. Yeah.
And I think Ace does a really great job as well.
100%.
Not just calling what's happening in the ring, but this is the storyline.
And I think if Ace left, we'd probably just drop commentary.
Yeah.
But he does it amazingly, so we're just going to keep with that.
It's very easy to have bad commentary.
And we've had some bad. Me and old JJ weren't the best of commentators.
Just joking around there.
Yeah, but no. Nowadays we've found the stride with it. We're going with it. So it's an integral part of the show, I think.
Yeah.
Which wasn't your original question, but that's how I got there. And then,
so how long after that first training when you got hurt? Then, so what? You're just doing the backstage stuff, the commentary stuff,
and announcing.
They suckered you back into the ring.
And then Eddie's like, hey, they were doing the cartel thing at the time, and I was the cartel commentator. That was the group that I was the heel that I was backing. And then I just got in that group, and then Eddie was like, hey, come manage me. Don't have to do anything, it's just managing. You're good at it, it will help. And I'm like, yeah, that will be awesome. So I did some managerial stuff and did some good commentary.
Slowly start taking bumps during matches.
So that's the thing. And then he's like, come back to training. And I'm like, I don't want to be a wrestler. I don't want to train. I don't want to do it. He's like, no, but come to training, learn to take some bumps so that if you need to take a bump as a manager, you're good. And I'm like, sounds good. He's like, and maybe we'll do a tag one day. And I'm like, yeah, sounds great.
Then maybe we'll do a Christmas street fight.
This is what happened. So then, like, I'm training for a little bit, and we do the cartel. The cartel splits, and at that point, I'm still just managing and not doing anything else. Then I think it must have become up to a Skyfire, lead up to Annihilation. Must lead up to Eddie versus.
Diablo?
Yeah, it was lead up to Eddie and Diablo. And Eddie had to go to a wedding in New Zealand, so he would miss Skyfire, which is like where we do like 4 or 5 shows throughout the day. And he's one of the main cast. We don't get interstaters down for Skyland, for Skyfire. It's just our guys. He's like, you don't have to wrestle. And I'm like, nah, man, I cannot wrestle. So I had 3 matches that day, and they were very much like I had to know everything I was doing because I was not ready. And I was in good hands. Like, my first match was with Diablo or Lee, who was owning it at the time. My second match was a triple threat, so I
sat out.
Didn't do much. I think Lee took me and beat me up around Skyfire, threw me in the bin. Easy stuff. And then the last one was a tag, and I think I literally just tagged in, and that was it. So dipped my toe in, and then a month later, me and Charlie, literally last minute, the night before Annihilation, got added to the tag team match.
Yeah, and that was Charlie's debut.
Yeah, it was mine and Charlie's debut.
Yeah, okay.
In the ring, like Skyfire, take that out. That was also my debut in the ring, and that decision got made on the Friday night, going into the show on Saturday to add us to the match.
Did something get pulled or? Oh, I guess we just added
someone joked about it, and they were like, "Oh, you should put Charlie and Daniels in there," and we ended up winning it.
So everybody.
And that decision, I don't know how deep we dive in here, but that decision was literally we weren't winning it either, and then that decision got changed like just beforehand. So, great way to debut at Annihilation at Albert Hall in our more packed Albert Hall show too. So, and then it just. I don't know. The fans accepted me, and that's it. Yeah. For that first 2 years, I got to do my character as just, he'll be right, he's learning. That was my character. So if I screwed up in the ring, the crowd were like, that's our boy.
Didn't expect anything better.
That's our boy. So now I don't get as much leniency.
Yeah, now you've been a champion, very pushed wrestler. Like in the time that I've been, I don't think I think maybe your kids were maybe just born when I first joined. Was it like November?
Yeah, my kids were born when me and Jonestown split. They were born just before that Annihilation.
Yeah. So I don't think I saw very much of you when I first joined.
No, I was not around at all.
Yeah, probably not wrestling much. And your first match in that when I was here is when you had that street fight, I think.
Yeah, so. And I hate it because I hate when other places where their promoters are like booked themselves to win everything.
Yeah.
But that wasn't not really the case here. I didn't really want to be North Champion. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved being North Champion in the end. But it was just going with crowd reaction and riding that wave. When I was training, the first conversation I had with Lee at the time was he's like, what do you want to be? What do you see your character to be? And I said, I want to be a jobber.
Yeah.
Nobody
wants to be a jobber.
I wanted to be a jobber. Look at me. Like, I never wanted to, it never made sense for me to go out there and, beat Osiris Burns. I was like, we had wrestlers at the time that were doing it. I thought it was lame and dumb. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know it's wrestling and you've got to escape your mind. So then I was like, let me just go out. I can be entertaining. I can get over as a jobber. And then I just got over. So that I just had to be...
Had to start winning.
But Dylan Daniels for the first year and a half, 2 years was losing every match. Like, it was constantly... I didn't get a win until I won the title. The title win was my first win.
Yeah.
So even the tag matches that we won was Charlie always winning the tags and me not winning them. So that's all I ever wanted. That was my wrestling dream.
That big spoiler, when you spoiled Aiden Sage.
Yep.
Was Aiden, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, Charlie. You bet.
No, I beat Sage for the title.
Yeah, that's right.
He took out Charlie. They were having a title match, a rematch.
Yep.
She got taken out. I came out as a surprise, and then shock win, loudest pop that I've got. Almost brought me to tears. Yeah. I don't think I'm not a happy crier, but I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting so much happiness.
Do you feel like you feel valid as a wrestler? Like, I know it's probably a bit hard being one of the owners, but
it does. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I've been booked well, but I don't think it's because I was an owner. I think it was just my character is over, and any of the guys that characters are over, I think that's what you've got to drive and push. So I'm hoping.
But you can't just be the best wrestler and not be interesting or entertaining in any other way.
And that's exactly, I think my views on wrestling always is about character first. I think wrestling is very, very important when it comes to wrestling. But I think if you don't have that character, it just falls flat. Especially here.
Yeah.
I think here in Tassie, it's such a family show that character almost overrides ability. Sometimes
the children will cheer for the one that looks the coolest, or
100%, or the one that they've connected to. And I think that's if you can do both. If you can wrestle amazingly and do that.
You've got the connection to the children, but what's this new heel?
Well, yeah, not now.
Daniels, you just...
I hate the kids now.
You're going to wear the turtleneck out to the show tonight? This is the day of the perfect storm, by the way.
Yeah, wait, is this coming out after?
Yeah, this will be a few weeks from now.
I'm wearing the turtleneck, mate. Yeah, 100%.
And the glasses?
And the glasses. At night time, because there's nothing douchier than wearing glasses at night time. So
we were talking about when you had those first few matches at Chili Skyfire, and you had to have everything sort of set out. Is that do you feel like you can improvise at all these days? Or?
To a degree.
Yeah.
I think there's people approach matches different ways. I think some people like it fully move for move for move for move. Some guys like to call it all in the ring. I definitely am not a guy that can call it all in the ring. You would know this. I know you've asked the question, but you would know I cannot.
Even at training, you're a bit uncomfortable.
I hate it. I don't.
Just do sequences. I don't want to have to think.
I'm now at the point now that I know my big spots in the match, and then I can improv. I can fill in the rest. I can't call it I just don't have the flow enough yet. It's what I'd like to work on more, and I know that the way to do that is to do it more, and the good old mental mind cap just stops me from doing that. But
as soon as somebody whips somebody, then I'm like, when you're improvising, it's like, well, if it's not running off, what if you don't throw a clothesline? And it's like, and
that's why it's drilled in, like, don't whip somebody off or don't run until you know where you're going. But it's so easy to fall in that trap of not knowing or just assuming the guy will figure it out. And I think, don't get me wrong, I can get in there with Eddie and I can wrestle 15, 20 minutes of mucking around because he knows me. If the person I'm fighting knows me, they know where to put me to do my stuff. And I'm like, I get it, I can do this here.
You do the flying head scissors thing.
Yeah, but if you put me in someone who doesn't know that, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know what I do. I have no idea what I do. I forget everything instantly.
Yeah. So today is a show day. What is a show day normally like for you? Like, we've got the ring all set up. It came together very smoothly today. 11 o'clock.
I think I said it before. We've never had such a good crew that we have now. Like, everyone's got their pieces to play. The ring setup is always a big important one, and breakdown for that. I tend to not, one, because I'm lazy, but two, because I also
supervising.
But I do. I go and do everything else. So today I put all the seats out. I've got the ringside seat lists. I've got the names. I've got to put the stickers on the chairs. I've got to make sure all the background stuff that goes on. So the posters getting ready, setting the merch up, setting the FPOS up,
the money thing,
getting the cash, getting the hotels, getting the airport lifts. It's more making sure everything runs as it needs to run.
Yeah. So is it very stressful, like the night before and morning and just throughout? Like,
it used to be.
When the show's going on as well? Like,
yeah.
You're just thinking about what you're doing.
Do you know what? No. I like to, by the time the show starts, I like to switch off as Daniel owner and go into Dylan Daniel so that I can just do that for the rest of the show. But you still, during those COVID times when there's like, you're worrying about spacing and if you're at capacity and if Taz Health are going to drop in. And, you know, even though we did all the right things and had sanitizer and had the spacing and hit the limit cap, you still freak out that they're going to come in. And there was one show I was on commentary. And
you and Red Hood had to go talk to the police?
Yes, yeah. The police rocked up and the door lady came over and said, the police are here, they want to talk to you about the show. And I had to excuse myself from commentary and take a Red Hood and disappear out. And we're in gear. And you go out to talk to the police and Taz Health. And they were actually like stoked. They were happy with how everything wanted. They just wanted our details and stuff. And the door girl didn't have that. So we learned from that day forward. Like, these are the information. If they come in again, just give them the info. So you're always learning. But I think because we've got such a good ring crew now, I don't get as stressed the night before. Like I used to not sleep.
Is there going to be enough people to put it together?
Yeah, and like, have we done this? Is this right? And we were still learning it. Like, I think Eddie talked about it when you talked to him. We took over it very unprepared. Like, it was either you close or you take it. Yeah. And we took it.
Luckily, there's two of you to still delegate that, and then you've got like Cyrus and other people have their parts they play.
I know we try to do it as much as we can and just thank everybody, because without the crew that we've got, and I know that's different for the wrestling scene. I know a lot of the wrestling scene isn't anything like here.
It's just the trainees.
Trainee put the ring up and they break it down.
We've got you for 16 hours today. You do all this for us.
The wrestlers come in and they do their match and that's all they do. And it just doesn't work here because that's not how we operate, and we make that very clear. And I think it's always... Luckily, we've always had respectful guys, or we just haven't had them again, that understand that and go along with it. But we wouldn't be able to do the shows without the crew we've got, and it's a testament to what we've built, I think.
Yeah, it's really hard to have segues between some of these questions. I'm like, as you're talking, I'm like, I can't subtly get into this next one.
Like just hit with the points.
So why do you wrestle? Is it you just like being able to perform?
Yeah,
having that feedback with an audience.
Yeah, I love performing, and that's why I wanted to just be a manager because I was like, none of the risk, all of the reward.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, and I don't like. No, I love wrestling in front of a crowd. Like once the adrenaline hits me, I'm fine. I can get in there. I can do my stuff relatively well, and I love it. But at every moment up until that music hits, no faith in myself enough. Like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this, I'm not good, I shouldn't be in there, I'm only in there because I own half of the company. And then as soon as the music hits and I go out and the crowd reaction hits and I have the match and I come back out, I'm like, that's why I do it. Like, and everyone's the same. I think everyone has that mindset of like, I can't do this, or this is not going to go well. And then as soon as the match is over, you're like, that's why we do it.
So I want to be back out there right now. I just want to relive it all. And
you do.
I want everybody to talk to me about it.
Yeah, but like not beforehand. Beforehand, you're like, this is going to go terribly.
I haven't even planned my match yet today.
No, see, but I guarantee you'll stress, and then as soon as that you come back through that curtain, you're like, let's go again. Yeah. Like, I want to get back out there. Like our match we had was my favourite, one of my favourite matches I've had, which is, I would never have called that.
And that was like a very intricately planned every spot. It's like, then we jump over the steps over here.
Yeah, that was still in my phase of but at the same time we went through it twice. I think that was it. And I was really comfortable with this is good. And
that was my fourth singles match.
Yeah. Or something. So it was, more carefully put together, but I didn't feel the need to go through it a bunch. And there's matches where I'm like, I need to go through this again. I need to get my head around this and all that. I felt so good with ours, and then it played off perfectly of how I wanted it to play.
Highlight being me splashing Mike Murphy in the face with the water bottle.
I also love that. In fact, if you watch the footage, I just break and watch you do it and then go back to selling because I just wanted to watch the water bottle go. So
he didn't know about that. So.
Sometimes you got to get your spots in just for yourself. So. I remember early days of managing Eddie, I really wanted to do a spot where we called a timeout mid-match and he came to the apron and I got a bag of cut oranges, like in soccer games, and I gave him the orange quarters. It fell so flat with the crowd, but I didn't care because I was like, I want to do the orange slicer spots so bad.
Well, you were eating pizzas at Summer Beats this year, but I guess you weren't in that match at the time?
Yeah, and that's an ongoing gag. So every Rumble that I've gone to, I've entered eating food.
Yeah, you had the Weet-Bix.
And every Skyfire Rumble I'm eating lollies or food. One of those Skyfire Rumbles we got chucked out and we stole ice creams off kids in the front row and ate them.
That's what that photo was that I used.
Yep, I was eating ice creams. Yep. So that's an ongoing gag, is that I'm just always going to be snacking.
Just always hungry.
Always snacking out there, which is why I look like this and not like this, because I'm snacking.
Oh, God, I had a question there. Nerves.
Hey, don't be nervous, man.
No, something about your matches. Come around. What's something you want to improve about yourself, like wrestling-wise? Is there specific aspects that you wish were different?
Yeah, I mean, I have two goals in mind now, and one of them is getting back into shape. I look at some photos when I was training, 4 kids, 4 twins, and I was going to the gym regularly. And I was never Doomslayer, but I'd slimmed and I was toned and I was happy. And I think one of the matches I wrestled without a shirt on because I was like, I'm feeling good about how this has gone. That's gone. So goal 1 is to get back into shape. Yeah. So that's rejoining the gym and changing diet. The second thing is I've just changed to heel. I've just turned heel, and that's a whole different thing in the ring. You've got to lead a lot more when you're heel, and I haven't figured that out yet. So that's
try leading Liam Lacey around and see how you go with that.
Look, mate, I'm going to whip the floor tonight with Liam.
Yeah, actually, I remember my question. So, are you worried about going out there tonight and just getting a flat reaction coming out as a heel?
Yeah, petrified. So there's what I'd love to happen is to go out and get that heat to carry over and get that booing. What I think will happen is that I'll still get cheered.
A bit mixed.
I think I'll still just get cheered. I think the kids and stuff still, again, they know the character. They don't care about that. Even when I came out after turning, there was kids that were like, nah, I'm with you, Daniels, I support you. I'm like, that's not what I want you to do, you know. But that will happen, and I think that's what will most likely happen, will be a mixed leaning towards cheer. The worst thing that can happen is just nothing. If I go out there and it's just dead quiet, that will play in my mind before that bell rings really, really bad.
When I was a heel still, and like people, like family or whoever to come watch, friends, it's like, don't cheer for me. Don't cheer for me.
It's the number one. So many times, especially here with local stuff, everyone, when they're debuting, they bring all your family and friends. It's what everyone does. But if you're a heel and they all cheer, and you're like, well, now it's ruined because now you look like a bad heel because everyone's popping and cheering for you. So,
talking about like,
you got to talk to your renter crowd. You know, you got to get your renter crowd sorted.
I've got a few today, but I'm all right now because I'm a good guy.
Yeah, that's it. And your pop last show was insane when you went out.
I got popped just for coming out. So
I know, and it was deafening.
That was a big confidence booster. Like, yes, this is going to be fine. So if I don't get that same reaction coming out today, then I don't know.
But also, it was new character, mask off. First time coming out.
Like, we were surprised that those kids in the front row are like, show us your muscles, do stuff. It's like, why do you guys like me?
When you're a good looking dude who's fit and now a good guy, it's very easy, I think, to get that crowd. Try doing it as a flabby 5-foot man, you know, it's harder. You got to win the kids over.
You got the bigger challenge, but succeeded as a baby face.
Yes, we'll see now. Hopefully, as a heel.
We've already talked about that bit. Last question that I've got anyway. What are some dream angles that you'd love to be able to do in TCW storylines? Like, I know you've talked about Freaky Friday. And
I have ideas. There's no good idea. This is why I don't do the booking. This is why.
But if you had free reign, what are some things that?
I only book ideas for myself because I don't want to ruin anyone else's characters. Two dreams. I always wanted to. When I was Northwest champion, I wanted to do a Freaky Friday with Ali Galvin, and she does all my moves, I do all her moves, and we do that whole body swap thing. The only other thing I wanted to do, and I guess I never got to actually do the Wheat Bix gimmick. Like, you helped me set it up out of nowhere. It was never supposed to be
just a training, and we're doing like the back and forth punch, and I'm like, how many Wheat Bix is this?
Yep. And I was like, I'll say it, and the crowd just got so into it, and then I was like, Wheat Bix Kid, that's what I'm going to be, and I didn't get to do it. Then I've turned heel, and now it's gone. It was too hard to be the Northwest champion and do a Wheat Bix Kid thing at the same time. So
you got to smash a Wheat Bix over
Charlie. I still leaned into it a bit, but I really wanted to lead to and do a super serial street fight and do a street fight with just incorporating different cereals and stuff. And waterboarding with the milk.
Big block of Nutri-Grain. And
stuff
like that.
And pouring the cornflakes out like thumbtacks and bumping on it. I think it wouldn't work in lots of places. I think it would work here. I don't think...
Bring your own cereal death match. So.
Yeah, that's exactly it. People just bring the cereal from the crowd.
The staff here at Elephant are like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, with the clean-up. We don't do the clean-up, so it's fine. And years ago, I wanted to do a story with Aria.
Yeah.
Because she was doing her old Italian thing. I wanted to do garlic bread on a pole match because she was going to say she loves garlic bread.
A frozen block.
I was going to say that I love garlic bread, and we were going to battle it out for garlic bread. Yeah. So dumb things. I have no good ideas, which is why I don't book.
Then you could have something else fake that's been wrapped up in the foil.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a loaded garlic bread.
There's good stuff here.
It's a garlic bread, but you pull a metal pole out of it.
Yeah, so there's good stuff. But no, I leave the long term, and I think Eddie talked about it as well. The booking is usually this is where we want to get, and then you fill in as you go throughout the year with who's available and what you can do and stuff. So I've been lucky that I've always been. I literally was Cartel, big chunk of time, Jones and Daniel, Jonestown, Northwest champion. I've had long stories the whole time. This is probably the first time that I'm now right, I've gone newish character, no long game story plan.
You've got the family aspect going on.
Yeah, which even that...
a little faction, but...
Which even that feels not jarring, but it's very much been established as Sinclair and Eddie.
Yeah.
And then I've just come back in. So, and that would be fine, I think, if I was playing the same character, but because I'm changing my character up and then going into a new group, it's all up in the air of how the crowd will react. And we'll adjust it.
I really hope you lean into the Steve Jobs kind of look.
Well, it seems that I have leaned fully into that. I just
hit somebody with an iPad.
You know, the thing is though, so I have my favourite wrestlers. Not. I mean, they're great wrestlers, but they're not what people are favourite wrestlers. Christian Cage is my favourite wrestler.
He does the turtleneck. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So this is the thing. So he turned heel maybe about the same time as me, maybe a bit earlier. I ordered the turtleneck online because I'm like, I'm going to wear a turtleneck and suit pants. That's my look. Shows up in his turtleneck and his jacket, and I was like, everyone's going to think that I just stole this from Christian.
It hadn't clicked for me.
Christian, X-Pac is one of my favourites, and Jericho, and Shawn Michaels is my big all-time. So they're the guys I look at. I don't have the technical prowess of any of them. But it's the character stuff they've all done. Jericho's comedy stuff as a face, Edge and Christian tag team stuff, like
X-Pac headlock. Yeah,
X-Pac, DX in general. Like they're where I really pull a lot of stuff from.
Did you used to do a Bronco Buster?
No, Archer does it, or has done it. So then I was going to do it, but it just doesn't fit with what I'm going into. I think if I'd stayed face, that would have made its way in. So. X-Pac headlocks are famous. It's not even like a real thing. Like I just love training, putting a headlock on and screaming X-Pac.
So I'll just do this while I think of what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, and then just go into headlock again. That's all I go into.
Oh, well, that's the end of the interview. Unless you've got anything else you want to bring up.
See, this is the thing. You covered a lot of the backstage stuff.
Anything you want me to ask about? You did mention briefly, because I didn't ask Eddie Jones this, but like, you guys are like really good friends, outside of wrestling, but you basically met each other in TCW then?
Yeah,
you just knew of Eddie?
We have a mutual friend named Luke who I worked with for years and was really, you know how you have like work friends? He was a great work friend. We always hung out, always talked. Bo and him were school friends. Yeah. So they had their own group. And occasionally we'd cross over and have events together. And I remember Luke's going away party, moved to Brisbane, was held at Eddie's house. Yep. And I went there and I didn't know too much about him. But I went into his... Have you been to his house?
The one now?
Or either one? No. He's got a figurine room anyway. Yeah, okay. Eddie has a figurine room with all his wrestling figurines and Batman figurines and stuff. Yep. And I went into that room at the house. I was like, man,
I can talk to this guy about
you're a big wrestling fan?
Man.
He's like, mate, am I a big wrestling fan? Like, shows me all of his titles and all of his, like, you know, DVDs and stuff. And I was like, damn. I'm like, oh, you're a Batman fan? He's like, oh, man, yeah. And so
this is the Batman. Let's go down the Batcave.
This is the thing. I was like, man, we have so much in common. And then we sort of, you know...
So was that before TCW?
Yeah. So we went to our friend Luke and we were like, do you, like, literally keep us apart? Because we have so much in common. He's like, yeah, I sort of knew that if you guys caught wind that you have so much in common that I'd get, you know, squeezed out. And he did. He moved to Brisbane. And now we both talk to him occasionally, but we are now the friends. And he's the odd friend out. So... and that's it, I sort of texted him when, like I said, came to the shows. I was like, that was a really good show. I was like, you should come train. I'm like, nah, man, wrestling's not for me. And, 6 years in, I'm still like, nah, man, wrestling's not for me, I'm here. But yeah, not going to get sentimental on the podcast, but yeah, can't...
Go on.
Nah, we don't, it's not the relationship we have, we're rough and tough boys. But no, I couldn't do the shows without him. He plays a massive part in TCW being around, so... the plan, I know you guys talked about it in there, you're like, was the plan always that, Daniels does the business and you do the wrestling, and that was the loose plan. Yeah. Was that...
So have you got like a background in like running businesses?
I was a manager of a business, like not my own business, but for years, so I had like an idea of how to do it. I had to learn a lot when we took over.
Waivers and stuff, insurance and things like that.
Insurance and just even things like marketing and council approval for stuff like that, stuff I never thought of, that you sort of learn as you go. But now it's luckily, like I said, like Eddie said, we've got a social media guy that does a lot of that and understands that and when to post and the best time.
The Twitter guy is pretty good as well.
And you're running the Twitter for us, which I'm thankful for, because I set it up for that. Like it's like our eighth Twitter account, maybe.
Yeah, 5 tweets and then it's I'm out.
It just falls by the wayside, especially when you're working a full-time job, you're wrestling, you're raising a family, then you're trying to... I do all that poster design and stuff for the most part, unless we can get somebody else to do it. So all those bits and pieces, a lot of background stuff that moves, but again, wouldn't move as well if we didn't have the team that we've got. So I'm eternally thankful to everyone that we've got doing bits and pieces. So
it takes a lot of hands to keep it going.
And I don't know. People ask me like, oh, is there like a? I used to always joke that A10 would be our last show, and then we're out. That's not the case now. I think the case is to keep running and keep building.
Yeah. So. I thought TCW was shutting down when Mike Murphy wrestles in the main event.
hopefully we shut down before Mike Murphy is in the main event. Unless he's full dragon, we can get like
the green outfit,
lower him down from the ceiling in the dragon.
There's some good outfits at Spotlight, I saw.
You've shown them to me, and I think we get him today and we get him dressed up and we send him out there.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for the podcast. Thank you for all the stuff you do. I know you started, I know I'm not going to interview you, we haven't got time for that, but you started as coming to the shows and then came to training and now...
And I was the most welcome person there's ever been at TCW.
I like to think we welcomed you in.
Do you want to talk about that?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, you can, from your side of the story.
So you came to our...
I was at the very first couple, and I was a bit sporadic, but then it was the second Albert Hall one.
Yeah. So Albert Hall was booked or pushed for us to book for Annihilation just as we took over. And we'd just done it.
Yep.
Lee had just done it, and it went relatively well. So we booked it. The things I noticed from the first show that we did there was that it's all flat seating. So I said we need to get a screen so people can at least watch the screen and get a camera. So we set that up and sorted it.
Was there much feedback after the first one from audience of not being able to...
No, yes and no. Some people said that they didn't have great seats, couldn't see much. Some said that had been, I think, to the last one, said that it was good that the screen was there so they could watch what was going on. We were aware of it, but you can't get tiered seating. It's not a thing you could get in Tassie, that we could find anyway. So we did the show. There was a few hiccups on the show. One of the girls' matches, flights landed, literally got to Albert at 5 o'clock. And I think doors opened at 5:30.
Yep.
So
couldn't work out anything.
They didn't do anything. They didn't get to go through it. That happens in wrestling. It fell flat. For the most part, we had our match, which was the Brisbane Street fight, which I was instantly knew the crowd was eating up, and that went as better than I ever thought it would go.
Yep.
And for the most part, I felt the show went well. But then,
I was just being overly critical.
Yeah, you put a review up. Was it quick? Night of?
Was it written or audio? Because I think I was probably talked about on the B Plus podcast, and I don't know if that's where...
I don't know, I heard that one. No, we read a review or a post. Maybe you commented on something about your seating being bad and the matches and stuff. Remember. And
here I am, I probably was at wrestling in Japan the week before.
And I think that's it. And I think I didn't know you. I don't think I knew at all, really. I think that I just knew who you were. And we read the review, and it was our first big show. And it was a bad review. And I was there was a bit of a fuck this guy. But also it was deflating. It hit hard because it was the first one we'd done. And I think we were aware of a few issues that were there.
Yeah.
And then to have them highlighted, you're like, well, cool. Everyone clearly feels the same. And it's that thing, you'd know with wrestling. 100 people can tell you that was an amazing match. If one person goes, oh, that was a shit match because of this, that's all you think about and focus on. It doesn't matter how many people tell you it was a good thing. So, but I remember when you messaged the page saying you were going to come train.
The first time. And Eddie was in Canada at the... He was overseas at the time, and somebody replied.
It was me, and that was I forgot that because I was like, "He's not here. Don't come now because I can't train you."
Yeah,
we've got people that know what they're doing can continue.
And then I sent another message when I was drunk, 5 months later or something.
Yeah, good.
And I was like, I was at Tandy's eating curry from Curry Club and having some beers with my friends. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
I know we had the conversation of this guy's going to come and train, and we both were like, it doesn't matter because you want to train, that's the focus. And I think, I always think that we've done a really good job of anyone's welcome to try and go along with it, and we'll try and help everyone best we can. Wrestling is such a weird niche anyway that you want to grab everybody that wants to try it out. And then
as long as they've got a good attitude.
I think, and that's it. The other thing is it doesn't bring negativity to it, then we just go as it is. And as it was, you came in positive, picked it up, done well.
It's turned out all right so far.
I was going to say, it's been great ever since. I don't think we've had any issues.
Got engaged on the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
at the show.
Yeah.
I think you might like me now.
Yeah. We on our already massively packed show that had no time left and was running over. I'm like, we can squeeze this in, an engagement. Why not? It's a good moment. Annihilation, you want to do all those things. You want to get all the good, heartfelt things in. So an engagement just fit perfectly in that.
Wrestle a match, get engaged, ref 2 matches. Yeah.
Big night for you.
Big night, yeah.
Not me. Just had my one match and sat backstage. Annihilation's always very stressful. We'll see if it's stressful this year. I'm sure it will be.
And there'll be lots of good reviews.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah, we put you under the payroll. That's the thing. We got bad reviews, put them on the payroll. Get them good payroll ones. I've done it twice now, but I think TCW is the backbone, is having everyone involved and welcoming as many as you can. You can't please everyone.
Yeah.
You never will. Fans, wrestlers, trainees, it's not going to please everyone. We don't offer the same thing.
I think you were saying to Cody at one point that it's like thankless, like if you just feel like you're not... People aren't appreciative.
Being an owner, yeah, for the most part it is.
Yeah.
Well, not for the most part. There's definitely times where it is.
So part of the reason that I wanted to help out with the Twitter stuff as well and just sort of do more just to take that off your shoulders.
And it does. It then allows me to have more energy and time for other things and focus on other things. So I am... And I say it's thankless. I also worry that we don't thank everyone. You do. You know, like, because it's easy to forget something when you've got camera guys, photographers, commentators, ring announcers, door staff, merch staff, referees, wrestlers, like, but just a ring crew that help out. Like, it's so easy to miss somebody and not give them like that, hey, thank you for all that you do. So yeah, I'm going to take this time to say thank you to everybody for helping TCW be what it's going to be. And we go strength to strength, you know.
Yep.
Our first year, get it, set the lights up, get the screen. Now it's to go up the next level.
Yeah, there's always like reinvesting into something, whether it be new speakers or
and that's
parts, lighting parts. And
it was always the goal, is to make some money off wrestling is nice, because otherwise you don't really make any money in wrestling. But get new lights, get an entranceway, get a screen, and now it's get newer light trusses so the lights can be down and moving, and that's the next sort of big goal that we'd like to focus on. And it's harder in Tassie because if you're in Australia, like mainland Australia, there's places you can buy stuff from, but we've got to get everything shipped down and or build custom. So
the Papa Burns is good for.
It is. We've got to keep Papa Burns on. He's not going to watch this podcast. I talk to him like he's going to watch it, but it's those people that if they left tomorrow, it's a bit of a scramble of like, how do you fix and that. So I am eternally thankful to everybody.
And I'm eternally thankful to have you. Look at that.
First segue of the show.
Yes, right at the end. And already found out your favourite wrestlers. Can't ask that right at the end.
I know, I heard that you asked. I jumped in early with it. But no, they are my favourites. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you follow Dylan Daniels on all these social media platforms.
Yeah, and I'll troll you on there because very quickly, the best thing I found so far about being heel is that I can just be.
You were doing that before anyway.
I know, but now I can do it guilt free. I'm like, Dylan Daniels wouldn't say that. Now I'm like, getting on with the trolls. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you.
Bit of a ramble cast, but I think it was okay.
No, that's good.